Hey everyone, it's Johnny from Expert Boxing with a prediction on tonight's fight between Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol the Truth Spence. You guys already know, two undefeated fighters in their prime or a little bit on the late end of their prime. But the public opinion was previously quite divided over who they thought would win. And now the betting odds are in Crawford's favor. And also, it seems a lot of trained professional boxers and trainers are picking Crawford. And as for the regular boxing fans, I think those are a little bit more split between Spence versus Crawford. So let's go over their strengths real quick. Spence got the size. I think he's easily 6 pounds bigger. He's got the southpaw stance, the body punching, the good fundamentals, 1-2, 1-2 jabs. He's got a solid chin, which you need for the body punching. And he's got experience against better and probably bigger opponents. Okay? And Crawford, what's he got? Sharp, fast, powerful. He's a better athlete. He's more swift on his feet. He's also, for me, the better boxing IQ. He throws from a wider variety of punches, angles of body movement. He's just more versatile. And who am I going to pick? How do I think the fight's going to go? Let's talk about the size. Spence is like I said, 6-7 pounds bigger, but also I think Crawford has the wider frame. From what I saw on the weigh-in, Crawford has wider shoulders. That's going to be more leverage when he turns and swings his hooks like he likes to do all the time. Spence's southpaw advantage. I don't think it's going to be a big deal because Crawford himself is a southpaw and can also be orthodox. So I think Crawford wins this one just for having more available stances. Next is Crawford's boxing IQ. I think this guy's just so versatile. He has far more angles to punch from. And for the people who say like he's wild or something, I don't think Crawford is wild. He just has such a high boxing IQ, and then he gets so comfortable in there, right, that he just swings freely. He can start swinging like aiming, and he knows it's going to get there at some point. And that's very impressive because when I think about it, I don't know of a single Crawford opponent that was able to counter him consistently. So even though he's swinging wild, his opponents are just ducking for cover, right? There's something about the way that he fights that they're scared to try to trade with him. Now, Spence's body punching, I think his body punching, the best quality it shows is that it's proof that he's got a good chin, right? Since fighters with a good chin can afford to duck their heads and throw body punches, for example, like Mexican fighters, they got good chins. So they put their head down and they just swing to the body. Can Spence get to Crawford's body? I feel like Crawford is expecting this and he's going to have some movement, like encounters ready for that. I think Crawford totally expects this. Spence's age. Spence is supposed to be 2 years more in age, 2 years younger in age and much fewer fights, but it's just a year and a half, so they're almost same age, really. I don't see the age thing. If anything, that Spence had fewer fights, I think that's nice. But also, too, Spence is the guy that had the eye injury and the car accident. He has more time off. Then the other thing I want to talk about is their hunger. I think Crawford is just so much more hungrier. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's pissed that it took so long and was so hard for him to get the big fights against the big names. Whereas Spence, to me, he looks like he parties in between fights. He's accomplished everything already. He's happy. So, and also, when I saw Spence's body in his last fight, I feel like I don't know. He's not as shredded and ripped like the way Crawford is. So I feel like Crawford trains harder. Okay, the pressure. Spence is a pressure fighter physically. He's in your face. He follows you around with those long jabs and then constantly testing your body defense. Okay, Crawford's pressure is more like a mental pressure. No, sorry. What did I put on it? Because I wrote all this. Yeah, Spence's pressure is like mental and physical. He follows you around, but Crawford's pressure is like cerebral. You can see this guy is like predator mode and he's trying to put you out. And the threat is always there and you can tell he's confident about it. So they're both pressure fighters. Now, skill-wise, definitely. When I saw Spence in the Campo fight, he's hit his ceiling. He's not doing anything new. He just kind of comes in, long punches, long ones and twos. He steps out of range if they reach, comes back in, throws to the body. Crawford is like everything. He's everywhere. He's straight. He's around. He's on top. He's on bottom. He's got all kinds of weird angles. He's got angles when he pivots off. He switches stances. I think Crawford's just way more IQ. Okay. And not only that, but I really liked how they performed in their. I liked how Crawford performed in the Porter fight. That fight showed two things. One is that he can knock out a guy that Spence couldn't knock out. It also showed that even when his opponents are tough and awkward and making for a weird fight, he knows how to still just keep swinging freely, keep being comfortable. I'm just very impressed. I'm very impressed with how he did the Porter fight. He missed a lot of punches and still was comfortable as heck in there. Now, how do I think this fight goes? Crawford comes out fast. I mean, this guy swings hard from round one. He's swinging. I think, if anything, I imagine Spence is probably going to be a little bit shaky and try to like just, jab at a time. I don't think Spence will be the one throwing wide in the early rounds. Rounds 4 to 6, I think they trade. They start to trade a little bit because nobody wants to fall in points. But I feel, Spence's footwork, I'll say that next. Yeah, I think Spence is going to have to cover up more than he expects. And then round 7 to 9. So I'll say this. I don't think Spence is going to knock out Crawford or could even knock out Crawford. That's never going to happen. Spence couldn't take out a smaller Garcia, and he hit him with a bunch of punches, and he couldn't take him out. So I don't see him taking out Crawford. The other thing is that I think if they have to trade, and Crawford's got the power and speed and skills to trade accurately, Crawford's a better footwork. He has a more rangy style. Spence's footwork is not on the same level. Okay, because he stands wide and he puts his head down. Wide stance with the head down, you don't move that well, like side to side and pivoting and all that. At best, you can use your leg muscle to jump in and out. But it's not an agile stance. Crawford's way more agile. And the moment he lifts, because you got to lift your head, right? When you lift your head, you're more on balance and you can move like much better laterally, like those amateurs. I think Spence also can't fight going backwards. He's not a swift guy. He's got a lot of skills, but he's not a swift kind of fighter. Not to me. So they're old enough that they'll find each other. I think they're willing to be aggressive. And Spence, yeah. Anyway, my pick is Crawford wins. 9th round knockout. I think Crawford finds him, and I think Spence won't have experience having to cover up. I don't think he fights well going backwards. Crawford finds him. Crawford's been waiting for this moment, and in just a couple hours from now, I'm going to just be screaming, "I told you so, I told you so." Let me know what you guys choose. Let me know how you guys think the fight goes. I'll probably do another video after the fight is done. See ya. May the best man win.